You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
It was. I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
I got to tell you, Saturday night, on his way out of town, Choice Woodman was able to get me a picture of the sky bridge that goes over the interstate into the stadium, or the roadway. It looks like an interstate. I think it is the interstate. It's a beautiful looking sky bridge into Jack Trice Stadium from one parking lot into the stadium. It's just how I imagine it over Indiana, Jamie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they've got it's enclosed. It's got a roof. It's not your standard Tex dot, or standard, Oklahoma dot, run of the mill just walkway over a, interstate. I mean, it appears to be probably heated, would be my guess. It's lit up. It's got good glass panes. But Choice sent that to me as they were guessing leaving Jack Trice. But that was it looks really, really cool. So this would be one of the sites that I'll go visit. If I ever won the $1 billion lottery and had an extra 10 or 20 million laying around that me and the lucky lady wanted to donate to Texas Tech for the Sky Bridge. This would be one of the sites that I'd go to.
Interesting.
Architect rendering, stuff like that. I figured you'd find that interesting. Too bad for Tyree Wilson. I get it. He's declared himself eligible for the draft. That announcement came yesterday. Revealed that he broke a bone in his foot, and despite his best efforts to work through it, multiple doctors have advised me to get it fixed immediately. Yes, that's what he needs to do. He's got to stay off his foot. He says he'll be 100% healthy and get prepared for NFL draft workouts, where he says, I plan to continue to prove that I'm the best defensive player in this upcoming draft. Man, he gave you everything that he had, and it's too bad that he's not able to finish out his career.
Yeah, he was terrific this year, no doubt, and last year too. So,
good luck to him. And so he is done. He'll be honored with the other seniors at Senior Day on Saturday. Now, I don't know how many they have. I don't know how many they have eligible to have. I don't know how many they have eligible to go through Senior Day that could then come back and be a part of Senior Day next year. But there's a number, with COVID and everything. There's a number of them.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to keep track of.
It's hard to keep track of.
Will this be the end of the COVID players? No, because that was the 2020 year. So you got 21, 22, 23, 24. You could probably go into 25 with this. Fun.
that'd be my guess. I just saw the game live. I was not in position to have my clicker to roll back. So somebody texts in that the Iowa State kick right before halftime was actually tipped by Miles Cole, and then somebody else sent in a picture of that. So it wasn't just luck, But again, great defensive play there for the Red Raiders. So if you have thoughts on Texas Tech's win over Iowa State, 14-10, hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com.
What kind of clicker do you have?
I was out of town.
What kind of clicker do you have?
Well, I mean, it's a remote.
A remote.
I guess I used to call it a clicker because it made clicking sounds. Okay. Mine's. I guess it's not really it's just I used to call it I think we used to call it the clicker when remotes first came out, and part of that was because I think clicker, and I think you with your handshake counter. I think that is a clicker. Well, I had a number of people that wanted to shake hands and stuff on Friday night at Two Docs. That was That was an awful lot of fun to get.
It's quite an honor for folks around town. It's
hardly.
It's like one of the things you have to do when you come to Lubbock, right? You go see a Tech football game.
Right. Sure.
You go eat fried cheese one place, and you go to Prairie Dog Town, and you shake Chuck Heinz' hand. It's like check. Right? Am I right, Jeff? Am I missing anything?
Yeah, sure.
Go see Buddy Holly's.
Go see Buddy Holly's glasses.
Take a picture with the glasses.
Mm-hmm. Prairie Dog Town. You mentioned that one.
Yeah.
Go get fried cheese and a calzone.
And a calzone. Yeah. Go get a calzone.
Yeah.
Shake Chuck's hand. Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think that's the highlight of the trip, too.
The highlight of the trip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you want is the back-to-back with Chuck. Mm-hmm. You want the handshake and the business card.
Yeah. Oh, and the conference. Oh, okay.
And if you can double up on the same day at a sporting event and get to meet Superfan and Chuck Heinz on the same day, 2 peas in a pod right there, then it's
a red letter day.
Man, it's all about it. Yep.
It's a red letter day.
Mm-hmm. That's the day to write home about.
The other games from Saturday, TCU, number 4 in the country, they get a last-second field goal and win over Baylor, 29-28. Is this a team of destiny?
I don't know. I just know they made plays down the stretch. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even down 8 you get the ball with, I don't remember, about 4 minutes to go, and you come down and you score a touchdown. You don't get the 2, and they just execute perfectly after that. I mean, Baylor offensively looked like they were playing not to lose on that next drive, and TCU gets it done. They get the stop. They move down the field. They kick the field goal. I mean, all involved. Good for them.
Number 15, Kansas State, a winner at West Virginia, 48-31. We already talked about Oklahoma defeating Oklahoma State. Sooners winning 28-13. Man, like you said, what a strange game. Oklahoma State finally started to play a little offense there in the second half and really the fourth quarter, but just couldn't overcome the 28 points that Oklahoma got in the first quarter. And then Texas just throttled Kansas 55-14 in Lawrence. So standings it's all clogged up, Jamie, in the Big 12. You've got TCU and K-State up at the top, and then Texas is really the only team now that has a chance to get into the Big 12 title game. And then you have Oklahoma, Baylor, Texas Tech, all at 4-4. Oklahoma, Kansas 3-5, West Virginia 2-6, and Iowa State at 1-7. So there you go. Now you're just playing for bowl position. Do you have a bowl site that you'd like the Red Raiders to go to?
Yeah, just remember with that, I mean, you can be ahead of some of those teams. It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to get picked for such and such a bowl.
Well, I do feel like that because of how you've traveled over the years, you're going to do really, really well with that. You're having an opportunity to get a pretty good bowl.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is November the 21st, 2021. I think that's right.
That is correct.
21st. Here is Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
1934, New York Yankees buy minor league players contract Joe DiMaggio from the San Francisco Seals in the Pacific Coast League.
It was a good decision.
San Francisco Seals.
1949, Bill Veeck sells the Cleveland Indians for $22 million. Because he was tired of owning the team? No. Because he was making a lot of money on it? No. Because he had to pay for his divorce settlement? Yes.
Wow. $22 million in 1949.
1949.
Wow.
1972, Red Sox Carlton Fisk wins the AL Rookie of the Year. Mets John Matlack wins the National League Rookie of the Year. One of those two is not like the other. 1973, Pete Rose wins the NL MVP playing for the Cincinnati Reds. 1982, the 32nd Winston Cup. Darrell Waltrip takes the title. Boogity boogie, boogity boogie boogie boys. Let's go winning championships. I just broke Jamie.
No. I remember that term from back in the days of paying attention to NASCAR.
And in 2004, Roger Federer of Switzerland wins back-to-back season-ending tens Masters Cup titles with a 6-3, 6-2 victory over Australian Leighton Hewitt in the final in Houston, Texas. It is National Cranberry Day. Seems fitting that it's this week.
Yeah. Do you like the
not out of the
cranberries?
can.
That's how I prefer it, out of the can.
And that's fine. You enjoy your canned cranberry.
I will. Are you a fan of the cranberry at all?
I am not.
Okay.
I used to love it as a kid.
What happened?
I don't know. Stopped loving it.
It's also National Gingerbread Cookie Day.
I'm a fan of the gingerbread cookie. I'm really a fan of the gingerbread cookie if it's soft.
Yeah, not a huge fan. I mean, I'll eat one every once in a while, but I don't love the flavoring there.
Happy birthday to WWE Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie, who are 39. Carly Rae Jepsen is 37. Goldie Hawn, 77. Michael Strahan, 51. Ken Griffey Jr., 53. Troy Aikman, 56. Cooper Rush, 29. And Hank Blaylock is 42.
You're not a fan?
Could not stand that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't Blaylock have a snake in his locker for a while? He kept it in the locker.
That seems familiar. That sounds familiar. Yes.
I had a bad experience with Hank Blaylock for 3 consecutive days in spring training one year, and so I am not a fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will mark him off the list then.
Yeah.
And on this day in 1864, legend holds that on this day, President Abraham Lincoln composes a letter to Lida Bixby, a widow and her and mother of 5 men who had been killed in the Civil War. A copy of that letter was published in the Boston Evening Transcript on November 25th and signed Abraham Lincoln. The original letter has never been found. Scholars continue to debate the author of the letter and the authenticity of copies printed between 1864 and 1891. At the time, copies of the presidential messages were often published and sold as souvenirs. Many historians agree that the original letter...
Archivists?
Yeah. It just doesn't look like a word. The original letter was probably written by Lincoln's secretary, John Hay, as Mrs. Bixby's loss. As for her loss, scholars have discovered that only 2 of her sons actually died fighting during the Civil War. A 3rd was honorably discharged, and a 4th was dishonorably thrown out of the Army.
Goodness.
The 5th son's fate is unknown. And that is this day in sports history.
All right. 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Did you see Jose Trevino showed up to his kid's school the other day?
I did not.
Okay. It was basically
it was career day.
Career day.
And he showed up in uniform.
Yeah,
all of it.
All of it, including his eye black and catcher's gear and everything. So I think that's really, really cool. This is like any other parent. Trevino showed up to career day to share with his son's class what he does for a living.
It's good.
You can see that his little boy is probably, I would say 5-6 years old would be my guess. So
very cool.
Very, very cool. I mean, he's even got his, he's got his full catching gear on. So anyway, I'm sure the other dads were like, how am I going to top that?
Yeah, really, no doubt.
You got some dad in there selling radio advertising. They're like, what do you do for a living? I sell air.
Yeah. Well, I know how you could top it.
How's that?
I'd be the Astros catcher.
Okay, yeah. That's right.
Martin Maldonado.
I don't know that the Astros catcher was, his son is in that class, or daughter is in that class. So that's, but that's the fireman's probably going in there going, hey, I got this, I'm the fireman. And then probably got a policeman in there who's like, well, I'm better than the fireman. And you got a doctor in there, I'm like, I save lives. And then you got Jose Trevino going in there.
The teacher probably enjoyed the fireman better.
6:53 this morning here on the morning drive.
Nobody's ever wanted a calendar of Jose Trevino.
Does the missus have a career day with the kindergartners? You got to suggest that.
I don't think she does.
Okay.
I don't think she does.
Okay.
Chuck, you still wouldn't get to go.
No, I'm not.
Jamie would get to go.
I'm not pining to go. I was just curious if you never know what kind of stable of stars that she's got in her classroom.
She's never asked me to go if she does have one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Kind of share with what you have going on.
She probably gets hacks to go to her class.
Although, let's be honest, if you were to go have to talk in front of a bunch of people, that would be a fun group to talk in front of for you.
Oh, sure. I'd get them riled up and then leave. Hand them all pixie sticks before I headed out the door.
We'll talk.
Just incur the wrath of Mrs. Lent when she got home.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be well for you. We'll talk about the Cowboys' domination over the Minnesota Vikings. Who saw that coming? Nobody. Red Raiders will play basketball today in Maui, and they'll take on Creighton, number 10 team in the country. This is as big a test as they've had all season long, as we've just getting the season started, obviously, and a top 10 team. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. We'll have it for you on 100.7 The Score and Double T 97.3 today at 12:30. And then tonight, Monday Night Football from Mexico, Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. No Kyler Murray. Colt McCoy will go for Coach Kingsbury's Cardinals. Tonight, you'll hear it on 100.7 The Score.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Thank you for being with us today. With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Take your thoughts, comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. We get this from David. The wife and I had a great time Friday, even in the cold. Thank you all for a fun time, but still wondering who won the pool and how many handshakes Chuck obtained. Was there a pool for that? Didn't know.
There was.
Okay.
I think Jerry won.
Jerry won. Okay. Our Red Raiders showed a ton of grit in that Iowa State game. Absolutely thrilled with that ugly win. Right.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I hesitate a little bit from calling it ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, ugly to me says you kicked it around and,
fumbled the ball a bunch.
Yeah, you turned it over.
Yeah. Interception.
Obviously your offense was not great, but with all those 3 and outs, but yeah, I don't know. I thought the coaching staff managed it well.
I loved how the defense played. I mean, I loved.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, I mean, I just loved how they just stood up time and time and time again, and you just felt like, man, is this when it breaks and they go up the middle and they score?
Well, here's the thing with me. I thought our pass defense was not good at all. I mean, their receivers were constantly wide open, and then one guy, man, Hutchinson. Good gosh, how many great catches can one guy make?
I know.
Holy cow, he was terrific.
He caught 8 balls for 101.
But it just felt like they were always wide open every time they threw the ball. That's why it was so confusing to me that they kept pounding it with the run when it wasn't working. Like every time they dropped back to pass, they had a wide open receiver.
By God, we're going to run this football.
Yeah, and then they get inside the red zone, and it wouldn't work. They would try to run the football the whole time.
Yeah, sometimes they do that.
Now, credit your pass defense for coming up with some big plays when they needed to. But man, it was early on in that game, they couldn't stop picking up third downs. You couldn't get off the field on defense. And luckily, they just missed field goals and then got inside the 5 and said, okay, that whole passing thing was working for us. We're just going to run now.
Here's what Matt Campbell said after the game. He said with regard to the 4th down plays, I don't know exactly what is going on. I thought they were good play calls. It was more of a lack of execution, and why that happened. Ooh, I don't know. There were those were obviously huge plays in the game. We were right there. Plus, you were playing field position. You were playing that game where you get the ball back if you don't have success in pretty good field position. We did it. Finally, had the opportunity to score and had the opportunity to put the game away, and we let that slide. Here's what Joey McGuire said. His opening statement. Can't be prouder of my guys. We had 2 fourth-down stops inside the 5. Defense played great. Offense did what they needed to do. Yes. Did what they needed to do. The stat sheet isn't pretty, but W in the column for the Red Raiders is definitely pretty good.
Yeah, you'll take that.
You'll
no
take
doubt.
that. You take that. His veteran leadership. We lost maybe the best defensive player in the country. Didn't get to play in this game, Tyree Wilson. And for our guys to come out and play like they did, it just shows you the leadership of the old guys. I'm really proud of them to get 6 wins. Yeah. All those things. Let's see here. I too have been concerned with Shuck running so much with the history of his injury. However, he has endured this time around and avoided an injury on that cold, hard turf. Said a lot. Not worried about him being injury prone anymore. Go Shuck, go Tech. Okay. Defense by far the brightest spot on this team all year. Defense wins championships, right? That's what they say.
No, we're just trying to get to a bowl game.
I know, we got there.
No, we're not talking about championships yet.
I know, but in general, defense wins championships. So, anyway, 7:19 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
How about the fact that one promise from Joey McGuire in his introductory press conference is holding true for sure? We will play defense in Lubbock, Texas.
No doubt.
Exactly what we're doing this year is playing defense in Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, no question about it. 7:19. All right, shift gears to the NFL just for a few minutes. How about the Cowboys yesterday? Goodness gracious. Anybody see that coming? I sure didn't.
I wouldn't have been shocked if they had won the game, but man.
Kirk Cousins definitely didn't see it coming several times.
Incredible beatdown of a good Vikings team on the road. Really impressive.
Dak, 22 of 25, 276, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. How about Tony Pollard? Continues to impress. 15 totes, 80 yards, 5.3 average. Zeke Elliott had 2 touchdowns, 42 yards on 15. And then Pollard, on top of running the ball, caught 6 receptions, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His longest went for 68.
I just thought he looked terrific. He just had a burst about him. He looked really good.
CeeDee Lamb, 5 grabs for 45 yards, and then Noah Brown had 2 for 42. It just goes all the way down. You had a number of guys get into that.
Yeah, but your defense is what won that game. Don't get me wrong. The offense scored 40 points, so they did their job. Mm-hmm. But your defense was all over Kirk Cousins. Even in plays where they didn't get the sack, he was rushed, he was hurried, he was thrown off his back foot, he was retreating. He did not know where the blitz was coming from, and it just goes to show how much losing your left tackle on the offensive line that you've been trusting all year, how much that hurts when you're facing a good pass rush.
Kirk Cousins, 12 of 23, 105 yards in passing.
I think Jeff makes a good point about the defense, but I think this is one of those games where you clicked on all cylinders. Your offense was terrific as well.
They played a complete game.
Yeah. Your defense was phenomenal. No question. They set the tone, all the above, but I thought your offense looked great as well. Dak looked really good.
70 plays, 458 yards for the Cowboys. Goodness. 307 passing, 151 rushing. 6 penalties, 39 yards. Did not turn the ball over at all. And let's see, the Cowboys, I do not have their... third down, they were 12 of 17. Huge. 12 of 17. Meanwhile, the Vikings were 1 of 11. 1 of 11.
Not good.
Ouch. Not good. And time of possession, Cowboys had it for 37 minutes and 24 seconds. Goodness gracious. There you go. So that gives you that. Chiefs playing last night against the Los Angeles Superchargers. They win 30-27. Again, another comeback for Patrick Mahomes. As the Chiefs got down, they had scored to take a lead of 23-20 after being down 20-16. They were down 20-13 at the half, and then it looked like the Chiefs were driving, and they'd gotten the ball to the let's see, they'd gotten the ball down to the 40-yard line, and there was a fumble, and the Chargers take over, and then the Chargers go down and score, and they take the lead of 27-23 with about a $1:46 left to go in the ball game. The Chiefs get the ball back, and Mahomes goes down there 6 plays, 75 yards, takes a minute 15 off the clock, and they score the touchdown. It's almost like, okay, how much time are you going to give him? How many is he going to be within a touchdown? And then how long is it going to take him to get down there? You almost take it for granted a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He's that good.
Just of how they're how good they are. Yeah, how good.
And a lot of that, Pat was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Travis Kelce is just unbelievable.
He's a beast.
And he is I hate to say the modern version of Gronk because, Gronk was here like 2 years ago and doing Gronk things just that soon. So it's not like he's the second coming of Gronk, but just how much of a weapon that he can be in this type of NFL that, man, it's hard to separate him and Pat, just like it's kind of hard to separate Montana and Rice.
Did you know that Kelce and Gronk are the same age?
That doesn't surprise me at all. Gronk, because Kelce's been in the league forever.
Gronk was in the league 2 years before Kelce, but they're both 33. So just crazy. And Kelce last night, he had 3 touchdowns, 6 catches, 115 yards, and the Chiefs get the victory. They move their record to 8-2 on the season. They'll host the Rams on Sunday.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, 7:32 this morning here on the Morning Drive. You've had all weekend to think about it. What kind of question did you come up for me, Jeff, and our fine listening audience?
I think it's a hard one today.
Oh, man.
Who's the player of the game for the Red Raiders on Saturday?
The player of the game. You want to go first, Jeff?
Okay, so Cup with a game-winning catch.
Mm-hmm.
His only catch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the problem. If he'd been more involved in the offense, then he might have been a slam dunk.
Wait,
you didn't have really any running back just dominate.
Mm-hmm.
Taj had the most yardage, but it's not like he had 200 yards.
Isn't it funny that
45.
See, your 2 touchdowns are scored by guys in Baylor Cup who that was the only time we said his name all day long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or saw him all day long. And Donovan Smith, who played 1 play.
Yeah.
So it's hard to
I think he actually played 2 plays, but I mean, he was involved in just the one.
Okay.
Well, he was involved. He was actually involved in the Cup play. He went in motion twice.
That's right.
So he was in. But
yep, you're right.
Chuck played okay. Wasn't fantastic. His running at the end of the game really helped secure it. I think I've got to go somebody on defense. But everybody played well on defense. The de facto answer would be Tyree Wilson, except that he wasn't in this game the way the defense played. So I'll go Merriweather. Why not? I mean, it's not like that's a bad answer.
No, it's not.
I was going to say Tony Bradford.
That's my answer as well.
Just his what he did along that defensive line and that big solo tackle that he made was just game saving. And he had 3 of them.
Yeah, 4 total tackles for Bradford. He had the sack, tackle for loss in there. So I just felt like with losing Tyree Wilson, like Jeff said, that's your de facto answer. With losing Tyree Wilson, you needed somebody on the defensive line to really step up. And I thought Tony was terrific. I know he's one of the the leaders of that team.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Tyree gone, that role was probably, a little bit more important this week. And I just thought he played great. It felt like his tackles were big ones.
Yeah. A couple things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Would have to be a defensive player, Merriweather or Josiah Pierre. Okay. Somebody says this, player of the game equals the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
David said Pierre steps up MVP. Okay. I mean,
Josiah ended up having 6 tackles total, 1 tackle for a loss.
Yeah.
1 QB hurry.
1 QB hurry. Okay.
So one of the other questions I was thinking about asking you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and if I had asked you to say, when was the game won or lost, and obviously you could talk about the touchdown but maybe more so of like an underrated huge play in the game.
Mm.
Okay, so not the 4th down stops, not the 2 touchdowns, but how about on the last drive, Deckers runs and he's got 2nd and long, and he runs, gets it back to like a 3rd and 1, and then there's a holding call. And to me, that holding call was massive. Ends up, you back them up and they're at 3rd and 15 or whatever, and ultimately it keeps Matt Campbell from going for it on 4th down. And to me, that was just huge, right? And at the time, would you guys have gone for it on 4th and 15 there?
No.
I would have.
I think I would have too.
With only 1 timeout remaining?
You're at the Iowa State. You're at the 44.
Yeah, I am absolutely going for it there.
I mean, because at this point in time, the Texas Tech drive started with 2:45 to go in the ball game,
and they had only 1 timeout.
Yeah, they had 1 timeout because they got hurried,
and they didn't need a field goal to tie it. They needed a touchdown. They had to have a touchdown.
Yeah. Right? So the play you're talking about was 3rd and 12, and Deckers rushes up the middle for 10 yards to the Tech 43 with Pierre and Eldridge in on the tackle. But then there's the holding call on Iowa State. So it moves the ball from the Iowa State 47 to the Iowa State 37. So now that sets up 3rd and 22. And Deckers has to rush. He rushes the ball for 7 yards to the Iowa State 44. Jalen Hutchings pushes him out of bounds and sets up 4th and 15 from your own 44. I'm with you, especially with 2:45 to go in the ball game.
And only 1 timeout.
And only
if there's 3 timeouts,
mm-hmm.
I might be with Jeff.
Yeah.
The other side of that, the forcing Iowa State to use that second timeout
mm-hmm.
when they substituted late.
Yep.
And that might have been the play of the game for Tech,
mm-hmm.
even though it wasn't Tech that did
helpful.
anything.
It sure was helpful.
Because that really put them in a bind for the rest of the game at that point.
And then how about Coach McGuire icing the kicker with a couple of timeouts back to back?
Literally icing the kicker.
Yeah.
And that's how I like icing the kicker, by the way. I hate the trying to do it right before they kick it. Because all that is practice.
Of course, here's the other deal, too.
Let him get set up.
He had already missed one. I mean, I think it was the right thing to do. I'm glad Coach McGuire did it. I don't know if it was because he iced him or just because he was having a bad day kicking.
The concept of kicking it, I don't want them to even get close to kicking it because then it's a practice kick.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And they were getting it set up. Yeah. Timeout right now. Yeah. You're going to sit there and think about it in the cold.
Yeah, I think that was a good move by Coach.
Somebody asked this question, and I meant to bring it up when I was talking about the Cowboys penalty situation, but they asked about the Tech penalties. Tech penalized 1 time
mm-hmm.
for 8 yards. 1 time for 8 yards. Yeah.
That's big. That's big. That's called not beating yourself.
Especially when how many times over the last 20, 30 years have we talked about, penalties, untimely penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they were very fortunate, Tech was, that Weston Wright didn't get called for unsportsmanlike conduct when he shoved the Iowa State kid down. I mean, I
agree.
The referees were, I think he saw what happened and then saw what Wright did.
And so he let it go.
And let it go. I mean, you could have made it offsetting.
Yeah.
But they let it go. Again, very fortunate because in a lot of cases you do not get that call, that non-call like that. 7:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Boom, boom, boom is next.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio in downtown Lubbock. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Benchmark hotline is open as well this morning at 806-771-0973. So you have basketball today, day basketball with Texas Tech and Creighton. 12:30 is the broadcast time. 1:30 is the tip time. If you want to do a late lunch, early happy hour, I guess, we'll have it for you on 100.7 The Score and Double T 97.3. I wish these games were later in the week, Jamie. I mean, you'll play today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So you'll play 3 days in a row, and then the team.
And then we get Thanksgiving for NFL.
No.
And college
I know,
Friday. And college Saturday. And NFL Sunday.
Why do you wish they were later in the week?
So that it'd be more convenient for me and others.
Okay.
I mean,
Later in the week would have them run into the Cowboy game.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. You're not wrong.
Isn't Thanksgiving Day all about watching the NFL?
It is
for you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you got the Bills and the Lions. They're in
there's
Detroit.
a barn burner.
And then the
ratings will be through the roof for that.
Cowboys in the G-men.
We have 5 games on Sunday.
I know. Yeah.
Where would you like the men's basketball game to go?
I didn't say I was being reasonable. Okay.
Where would you like it to be?
I don't know.
10 o'clock on Saturday night, like the Lady Raiders.
Yeah. Because that makes a lot of sense.
If you wanted a different game time, listen, I'm here to listen.
Okay.
But you got to have an idea where you would want it.
Well, it just doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't work out for my schedule today to do a 1:30 basketball game. You know.
Your work schedule.
Yeah, my work schedule. Right.
Yeah.
My work schedule. Right.
If only there was a device
stick a VHS tape in your VCR and record it. And,
sure.
And then you can watch it later this afternoon or tonight.
I'll be in and out of my car. I'll be able to listen. I want to listen to Jeff Haxton and Clark Lambert today. From the beaches, kind of see how their adventures were, in addition to the basketball. Right.
The football broadcast.
Which one are you more interested in? Jeff? Be honest.
I'm interested in the basketball. I'm also interested in the side trips. I'm always interested in the side trips.
The football broadcast was definitely reminding Level what the temperature was in Hawaii while he was freezing on the sideline.
Is that right?
Almost all game.
Well, you'll take on a Creighton team that is ranked 10th. They're 4-0 on the season. They come off of a win over UC Riverside. They won 80-51. That was on Thursday. Texas Tech, their last win was over Louisiana Tech, winning on November the 14th. It's been a week since they played Louisiana Tech. It was last Monday night, 64-55. Tech is led by Kevin O'Banner. He's averaging 12 points a ball game. Daniel Bacho's the leading rebounder so far. So, what's your assessment of this Red Raider basketball team? 3 games in.
Like to see him be a little bit more consistent shooting the ball. I'm not worried about the turnovers that much at this point, just with so many new players. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to gel, but I definitely would like to see that number go down. I think Davion Harmon is your most important player. Maybe not your most talented, but your most important player. And like what we're seeing on the defensive end so far.
Concerns for Creighton? Or do you think it's more about you?
No, I think it's definitely about Creighton, but I'm not going to act like I know anything about Creighton.
Okay.
I mean, they're ranked in the top 10. So The people that know say they're good. What is your opinion of Creighton? What part of their game, like who's their secondary scorer that really scares you, Chuck?
I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying.
What did you think of their second half defense in game number 2 of the season for them?
Okay, I was not trying to put you in a bad spot. I'm
No,
sorry.
you didn't. I didn't think you did. I'm just being honest with you. I don't sit around watching Creighton games.
No, I got it.
I sit around watching friendship JV girls basketball games.
I should call my brother-in-law, who's already texted me this morning. He's a Creighton grad, and so maybe we should call Eric the Great, get his assessment.
He's already texted you.
I'm due for a nap. Let's go.
You want to send me that number? I'll dial it in right now.
No. We
You guys can just talk about your Thanksgiving dinner.
No, we don't.
Mention the game just a little bit.
We don't need to have him.
We'd probably be more entertained than
Ryan
breaking down Creighton.
Ryan Kalkbrenner is their leading scorer. He's at 16.5 points a ball game. They have 4 in double figures. This very, very early on of the season, and then they have a couple more guys that are right behind them at 7.5, points a ball game. So, it's there's some concerning thing. Obviously, they're a good team, right?
Oh, great program.
They
ton of success, all the above. Right?
They score at will. They're averaging almost 86 points a ball game. They're holding their opponents to about 59. Now you can say, well, they haven't really played anybody, and I get that. I get that. I get that they've, had limited, competition. This will be their biggest, competition. Sure. Creighton has wins over St. Thomas, North Dakota, Holy Cross, and UC Riverside. Okay, so it's not like they've taken on the
Murderers Row.
We're kind of in the same boat here.
Measuring stick for both teams.
Yeah, Tech with wins over Northwestern State, Texas Southern, and Louisiana Tech.
I don't, by any stretch of the imagination, feel like the Red Raiders are just completely outclassed or anything like that. There's a reason the Red Raiders are ranked, and they've looked good so far. So, to me, this is a game you got a good shot.
Creighton is shooting 50% from the field. They're shooting 40% from distance, Jamie.
Nice.
And here's the thing: is on the turnover margin, they only average 8 turnovers so far. 8 turnovers a ball game.
Wow.
So they're +4, and that has been a problem for the Red Raiders so far this year.
They've only turned the ball over 8 times per game through their first 4. That's impressive. Mm-hmm. That is very impressive.
And so that's been a problem for Texas Tech this year. They're rebounding at a clip of almost 15 more than their opponent.
Okay.
So when you look at Tech's turnovers, you're averaging 17 a game, and that's one more than your opponent, and you've played weak sticks. All right. Seriously.
You'd like that to drop 5 or 6.
And that's what they've been working on. But they're concerned about that. Tech's also shooting about 36% from beyond the arc. Creighton's already made 43 pointers. Tech has made just 19. Now, Creighton's 40 of 114. Red Raiders are 19 of 53. So my assessment on this is 3-point defense. Don't turn the ball over.
Okay.
As much as you can, and you're going to have to get some. You're going to have to get some rebounds. You're going to have to get in there, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge with not having your big fella.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.